Good morning, this is Mrs Summerhayes from Stifferclays Primary School, and today we will be looking at the differences between direct and reported speech. So on the left hand side we have a number of sentences that are in direct speech, and opposite them on the right hand side is how they would look in reported speech. So first of all we're going to be noting the differences that we can see between direct and reported speech. So what has changed? So first of all, what we should know from our previous video is that when we're looking at direct speech we have the use of inverted commas, also known as speech marks. So you've noticed I've highlighted them in red. We know that 66 is at the beginning and the use of the 99 inverted comma is at the end. In yellow, we will now look at the punctuation that we also see when we're looking at direct speech. So you'll see the use of the comma and also the use of the exclamation mark in those sentences. So with direct speech, we have the use of inverted commas, but also the use of punctuation. Now, looking to the right-hand side, you will notice that there are no inverted commas in reported speech, because you are actually saying what the character said, but you're not using it as a direct speech. You are reporting what the character may have said. So you'll look at reported speech, there are no inverted commas, and that's how that is different from direct speech. So first of all we look at the use of pronouns in direct speech and reported speech. So in direct speech you will notice I is highlighted in red, and the use of personal pronouns. I like English better than maths, admitted Katie. I went to the cinema last night with my friend, said James. I want an ice cream, shouted the angry little boy. I am doing my homework, moaned the girl. If you notice in reported speech we do not use the pronoun I. We switch it and use the personal pronouns of she, he. She, he. So notice the difference. In direct speech we tend to use the personal pronoun I, but in reported speech we use the pronouns she and he, because we are reporting what the person said, as opposed to directly saying using speech marks. Now in blue I've also highlighted possessive adjectives. So in direct speech you will often see the word my to denote it belongs to them. And in direct speech it's possessive, it's personal to them. In reported speech you've probably noticed in blue the word his and the word her. So you will still use possessive adjectives, but it would be different in reported speech. You would not use I or my. In reported speech it would be his or her. So using the same sentences, what we also should see is the differences between the use of verbs in direct speech and reported speech. So in red you will see on direct speech I like, I went, I want, I am doing. Now looking at reported speech, how have the verbs changed? So I'm going to give you a second to see if you can notice it. Now what you should have seen, the differences between the red verbs in direct speech to reported speech, is that they've been put in the past tense. So Kate admitted that she liked. James said that he had been. That he wanted an ice cream. That she was doing her homework. So you can see that the verbs have changed. In direct speech they're in the present tense, but in reported speech they're in the past tense. So looking at direct speech and reported speech, and we're looking at simple present tense and simple past tense. So first of all, Jim Jarvis is a very silly boy, claimed Mr. Barrack. Notice I've circled the word is in present tense, and you'll have noticed that I've put it in reported speech. Mr. Barrack claimed that Jim Jarvis was a very silly boy. And notice I've circled the word was. So is present tense, was is past tense, and notice that I've turned the sentence around and there are no inverted commas in reported speech. Let's go to the next one. I don't know where Jim is, insisted Rosie. So I've circled the word don't, because that is in present tense, and I've circled the word is. In reported speech, that would be Rosie insisted that she didn't know where Jim was. So I've circled the word didn't, I've put that in past tense, and I've circled the word was. Often when you see the word was, we know we're in reported speech. It's past tense. Let's go to the last one. Tip admitted that he thought Jim was in serious trouble. I've circled the word thought, and I've circled the word was, as they are in past tense. So how would I put that into direct speech? I have to think about putting it in the present tense. So I've got my inverted commas. I think Jim is in serious trouble, admitted Tip. Notice I've circled the word think, I've put that into present tense, and I've circled the word is. Notice the inverted commas around what Jim is directly saying. So direct speech, present progressive tense. The boys are singing with joy, said Tip. Now notice in red I've put them in the progressive tense. Are singing, is running, is hoping. Okay, now how would I put those in reported speech? So Tip said that the boys were singing with joy. Notice reported speech, there are no inverted commas, and I've made sure that I've put it into the past progressive tense, were singing. Okay, Jim Jarvis is running towards the big house, suggested the policeman. Okay, in reported speech, that would be the policeman suggested that Jim Jarvis was running towards the big house. Notice the use of the word was when we're putting it into the past progressive. Finally, Jim is hoping to find Rosie and his sisters, Tip admitted to the police. Putting that into then reported speech, Tip admitted to the police that Jim was hoping to find Rosie and his sisters. So again, what we should be noticing here is in reported speech we do not have inverted commas, and we have to put it in the past progressive tense, past tense. Okay, some more examples. The boys cheered, said Tip. Tip triumphantly announced Mr. Barrack was furious. Jim felt nervous, the boys said. So you can see that these are in simple past tense. And to put these sentences into reported speech, we need to think of the past perfect tense. So, the first one, Tip said that the boys had cheered. Noticed had cheered. I've put it into the past perfect tense, and I've also removed the speech marks and turned the sentence the other way round. Tip triumphantly announced that Mr. Barrack had been furious. So again, notice inverted commas have been removed. I've put had been to put it into the past perfect tense, and I've changed the use of inverted commas, they're not included. Jim felt nervous, the boys said. In reported speech, that would be the boys said that Jim had felt nervous. Again, notice inverted commas removed, and I've placed the word had before felt to put it into past perfect tense. I hope today's video was useful. Please stay safe everybody, and hopefully we'll see each other again soon. Bye!